Good evening and welcome to NTA News Top Table. Tonight we have come calling with a Nigerian mobile phone as the Federal Executive Council receives a totally indigenous handset. We will also be checking in at the airports to confirm if some stories making the rounds on the check-in systems are accurate. We are on track, yes, I mean the rail tracks between Lagos and Ibadan as the two cities gear up for a fully operational railway service. There is a garland around the gravels as the 9th Senate marks its second-year anniversary. We also have an appetizing story on yams. It is a potpourri of reports on tonight's lineup, but don't take my word for it. Just settle down. After all, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I am Fatima Buba, and this is News Extra. I welcome you. The Federal Executive Council has approved 2021 Supplementary Appropriation Bill of 895.8 billion naira for presentation to the National Assembly for approval. This is to, amongst others, procure COVID-19 vaccines as well as enhance the capacity of the nation's military and paramilitary agencies to tackle the challenges of security bedeviling the country. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, announced this while briefing journalists at the meeting of the council presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adam Sambo reports.
Out of the 895.8 billion naira supplementary budget proposal approved by the council, 83.56 billion naira is for the COVID-19 vaccine program. Of the amount, 30 billion naira is to be used for the procurement of Johnson & Johnson vaccine and the related logistics cost of deployment.
It also contains the sum of 1.69 billion for the Nigeria Comprehensive AIDS Program that is currently operating in the states, and an additional contingency provision of 40 billion under the public service-wide wage adjustments to take care of the needs for allowances to the health sector, to the education sector, and other wage-related issues. This is an incremental provision over the 100 billion that is already provided in the 2021 budget.
And for the defense and security sector, 770.60 billion naira has been proposed towards addressing current and emerging challenges of security confronting Nigeria.
This approval also contains an approval to borrow the sum of 722.53 billion for security expenditures, and these are the capital component of the security expenditure in the absence of any other additional supplementary sources of borrowing. This borrowing will be done from the domestic international capital market.
Consequently, the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning has been given the go-ahead to restructure and draw down on some existing World Bank loans as part of the financing source for the supplementary budget. The minister explained that 135 billion naira is also to be withdrawn from some special reserve accounts to part fund the supplementary budget, specifically related to the COVID-19 vaccines. Meanwhile, before the commencement of the council meeting, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Niyi Adebayo, presented to President Muhammadu Buhari a sample of an indigenous mobile cell phone. The minister said the Made in Nigeria product already launched was produced by Model Skills Training Center of the Industrial Training Fund, ITF. ITF is an agency under his ministry established to promote and encourage the development and acquisition of industrial and commercial skills required in various industries across Nigeria.
Actually, it's called Honor, and it's branded Made in Nigeria by ITF Mobile.
In the meantime, Wakil Bukar and Muhammad Dattijo have been sworn in by President Muhammadu Buhari as members to fill existing vacancies in the Federal Civil Service Commission and the National Population Commission, respectively. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday called for a renewed global action to decisively address the HIV and AIDS epidemic in the African region and eliminate the disease by 2030. The president spoke at a United Nations General Assembly high-level meeting on HIV and AIDS to review the progress and commitment to end the deadly disease by 2030 and provide recommendations to guide and monitor response in countries. The president addressed the meeting in a video message pledging Nigeria's full commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals (SDG) and other international and regional initiatives towards eliminating HIV and AIDS in the world within the set goal. He said Nigeria will continue to work with fellow heads of state and government across the continent to ensure sustained high-level political engagement in achieving these goals. Uprising the meeting of Nigeria's response to control the disease, the president expressed delight that the country has moved from a data-poor to a data-rich country with the results of the largest AIDS indicator and impact survey conducted in 2018. He added that the result of this survey has enabled Nigeria to set realistic targets and identify those who were not being reached with the necessary services. And the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has confirmed that Twitter has formally written to the federal government requesting dialogue over the indefinite suspension of its services in Nigeria. This was while addressing newsmen after the meeting of the Federal Executive Council. State House correspondent Adam Sambo reports.
If they say the ban is not effective, how come they say that they are losing billions of naira every day? And if the ban is not effective, how come that Twitter is reaching out to us now?
The minister, Lai Mohammed, made it clear that Twitter was banned in Nigeria, having become the platform of choice for separatists to promote their agenda. He said all those talking about freedom of speech and investments are doing so because there is a country called Nigeria.
The reason why we took the decision is because we believe that every interest in Nigeria today is inferior to the corporate existence of Nigeria. Probably if they understand why we are doing so, probably their views will change. And frankly speaking, this is a time when politicians should rise above, divisions and queue behind the country.
The minister said the government is not unaware that Twitter actively supported the NSAS protests in Nigeria, where 6 soldiers, 37 policemen, and 57 civilians were killed, in addition to the valuable public and private assets destroyed.
Twitter definitely does not mean well for this country. Its interest in Nigeria is inimical to our growth. To do business in Nigeria, they must register as Nigerian companies. 2, they must be licensed. 3, they will have to refrain from using the platform for activities that are inimical to the corporate existence of Nigeria.
Consequently, the minister explained that the federal government has already taken a position that all OTT and social media platforms operating in Nigeria must register with the Corporate Affairs Commission, be licensed by the National Broadcasting Commission, and strictly adhere to the conditions stipulated in their licenses. He said the present situation where such operators neither have offices in Nigeria nor pay taxes to the government for the billions they earned can no longer be tolerated. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Recently, the news has been circulating that common use of terminal equipment, which is the check-in system that enables multiple airlines to process a large number of passengers and their luggage, has totally collapsed across major Nigerian airports. Aviation correspondent Emmanuel Anyimiru was at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, to find out the true situation of things.
A typical day at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, the hustling and bustling in top gear as everyone engages in one bit or the other. The ease with which activities are going on doesn't give any impression of a total collapse of a major facility that facilitates operations, at least for passengers and airline. Further investigations confirm this impression.
Is with the help of our home office, we are able to gather 1 or 2 gadgets to be able to be able to process our passengers. Instead of using like 5 check-in counters or 6, we're actually using like 3.
In March this year, the Federal Executive Council approved a new information technology solution firm to take over the management of common use of terminal equipment after the expiration of the 10 years contract of the previous operator. That, however, came with its own challenges. Despite the switchover from one ICT platform to the other, the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, is still able to process passengers, although with some glitches.
Between October and now, I think we met almost 4 or 5 times, just sensitizing. And because of that sensitization, most airlines have already prepared their own backup system, and we are ready in the event something like this should happen. And also, FAN provided the ICTS system, which is a temporary system that you can use in the event of any disruption, pending when the long-term solution arrives.
While some seem to pull down the industry, far away Montreal, Canada, the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport is being recognized as best in airport service quality by the Airport Council International, even in the face of COVID-19 pandemic.
So for the carbon accreditation, only about 11 airports have participated and won something in Africa. The certification we did for 2 airports, up to now, the whole of Africa, only countries have one airport. Only Nigeria has 2.
2018, we got the best improved in Africa in safety. And then now again, we put Nigeria in the global map.
The assessment by International Civil Aviation Organization standard for award recognition is based on customer rating in terms of hygiene, service delivery, check-in system, access control, synergy among stakeholders, safety and security among other requirements, further proving wrong the insinuations of total collapse of the check-in system. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
Few hours to the inauguration of the Lagos-Ibadan double-track standard gauge rail line for commercial activities, the people of the Southwest Zone are eager to explore the tagged One Project, Multiple Effects. Reina Kaluoka tells us more.
It is a known fact that the Lagos-Ibadan Express Road, one of the busiest interstate routes in Nigeria, with more than 3 million daily vehicular movement, is notorious for gridlock.
It's too much, especially that redeem.
My time to go to the office is already gone, so I just have to find a way of navigating to go back to the office.
It is also established that Lagos seaports witness massive congestion, leading to loss of millions of naira.
I find it difficult to access our point of loading.
With the takeoff of the 156-kilometer Lagos to Ibadan standard gauge railway, changes are expected.
The Lagos-Ibadan rail line has 11 modern stations with state-of-the-art facilities. 7 are of standard class and 4 are classified as major stations. Mobalaji Johnson Station in Ebute Meta, Lagos has the capacity to accommodate more than 6,000 passengers conveniently at a sitting.
The project, which runs from the commercial city of Lagos through Ogun State to Ibadan in Oyo State, is designed to take hundreds of passengers with 16 trips daily. This is expected to increase.
The difference is very clear. The comfortableness is very clear.
This, experts believe, will take more than 8,000 passengers off the road.
Since January, I've been coming to Lagos. I never come with a vehicle. I come by train because it's more convenient.
With a 100-kilometer speed limit, which is to be increased to 150 after the perimeter fencing, many say travel time will be cut short.
Just like 1.5 hours. We took off like 9 and we are here like 10:35 or so.
The Lagos-Ibadan rail line is connected to the Apapa ports. Small wonder the effect of these to the economy.
Now, the way they are doing it is okay for us. We can get access down from Ijora, Olokpa, Ijora, Badia, down here.
Being that it's going to the port, we are expected to move a lot of imports and automobile exports into the port. Goods coming from the north or from the east can go into Ibadan or go to Abuja. We have enough space here that they can drop their container and container to load them to the port.
With hundreds of communities along the corridor, the rail line, besides influencing inter-ethnic interaction, will be instrumental to further growth in commercial activities in towns and communities. Direct and indirect jobs have been created with multiple effects on health, economy, and revenue generation.
There is a section for important personalities, and in this section you'll be treated specially.
The icing of the cake, the passengers say, is the experience on the train ride, which comes with luxuries and comforts, eliminating what they called the wahala of traveling on the Lagos-Ibadan road. Oyina Kalu Oka, NTA News.
Heartwarming development, I must say. The Nigerian Navy has launched a new landing ship tank LST in Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, to replace the first set of LSTs, NNS Ambe and NNS Ophium, which have been decommissioned. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, says when commissioned into the Nigerian Navy fleet, the LST will bolster sea lift capability, notably of the transportation of troops, military hardware and vehicles in the conduct of maritime security operations. The new LST has a length of 100.08 meters and is powered by 2 engines and 4 C-18 generators with an endurance of 15 days and 15 knots. She can accommodate more than 450 persons in the upper and lower decks in short trips for humanitarian or evacuation missions. And barely a few days after the suspension of issuance of tinted permit, the Nigeria Police Force has affirmed that all existing vehicles tinted glass permits duly issued by the Nigeria Police Force remains valid. A statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, Frank Mba, indicates that the clarification became necessary following the suspension of issuance of new tinted permits by the IGP during a meeting with senior police officers at the force headquarters in Abuja. Mba explained that the suspension, which is a temporary measure, will remain in force pending the release of a new protocol that would regulate the issuance of tinted permits for vehicle owners. Similarly, existing spy number plates must be used by authorized users for purposes it's meant for, and vehicles specified by law, while issuance of new spy number plates remains on hold pending the release of a new protocol that will guide the issuance and usage. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police has directed commissioners of police in the 36 states and FCT, as well as their supervisory assistant inspector generals of police, to give full effect to the directives as contained above. West African Action Networks on Small Arms WANSA is seeking collaboration with the new Partnership for Africa's Development, NEPAD, to end gun violence in Nigeria and the African region. Kenneth Nanim reports that the South Partnership by WANSA is part of resolution reached at the end of its 2021 Global Week.
Proliferation of small arms and light weapons is said to be majorly responsible for insecurity in Nigeria and the African sub-region. The West African Action Network on Small Arms is passionate about tackling this social menace, but the task is enormous. This necessitated need for collaboration with relevant agencies to realize the objective.
We stand totally with NEPAD under your leadership, which has been working towards realizing the mandate of integrating Nigeria and Africa in the global economy, despite the teething challenges.
The national coordinator of NEPAD, Princess Gloria Cobont, urged the group to re-strategize and focus more on the mobilization of the rural dwellers and institutions at the grassroots to galvanize more support and intensify action towards the elimination of all forms of violence in the society.
NEPAD has this structure of across 774 local governments. NEPAD has 36 state coordinators, including FCT 37. If we collaborate with them for rural advocacy on small arms, purification of small arms, I think we'll make success.
She also explained that NEPAD had in 2018 and 2019 launched a program on silencing the guns, from where a policy document will be developed for the implementation of the action plan. Voter education on violent-free election, mobilization of women and youth groups, as well as adequate research and communication skills are other areas of interest in the collaborative effort. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan, who is the ECOWAS envoy for Mali, has held a meeting with the head of Mali's junta, Colonel Assimi Goïta, in Bamako, in a desperate attempt to save the country's fragile transition. The trip was Jonathan's second in 2 weeks. The ECOWAS delegation leader, Claude Brocassi, said it was reiterated by the mediators that the commitment of ECOWAS is to ensure the success of the transition process so that elections are held according to schedule.
To have a conversation with the head of the government, who was then the deputy, and the new prime minister. The military officers agreed that the prime minister will be a civilian. So it is not new. So I don't think there will be conflict between the Prime Minister and the head of government.
As I said, and it was reiterated by the mediators, that the commitment of ECOWAS has accompanied the transition process so that elections are held according to the schedule that has already been established by the Malian authorities. Therefore, our role will be to support this process. So there was already the first step that was mentioned at the Accra summit, namely the appointment of a civilian prime minister. That happened yesterday, and I think it's a positive point.
Goïta was sworn in Monday as the country's president, 2 weeks after he removed transitional President Baldao, attracting suspension and condemnation by the African Union. Goïta has vowed to stick to the old transition schedule, which prescribes elections next February. The Sahel country's second coup in 9 months threatens to upset a return to civilian rule. Activists and political parties have warned that the army is keen on dominating power with little interest in a democratic dispensation. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has vowed never to allow assailants to overtake police stations and formations in Nigeria. He gave this assurance at a meeting held with personnel in Lagos. Len Deneke reports that the visit is part of his familiarization tour of police formations across the country.
The security unrest and destruction of police formations in some parts of the country have left many worried, despite steps taken by the police to checkmate the act. Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba said new plans have been developed to restore the dignity of the force and tighten up security. He said armory that were looted by irate youth will be beefed up with more sophisticated arms and ammunition.
The issue of crowd control, riots, so that you go back to the agreed or accepted norms of discharging these duties and responsibilities. You must also control the use of firearms by way of discharging our duties and responsibilities through an intelligence-led policing, through technology-based practices.
In maintaining the peace and tranquility of Lagos State, Commissioner of Police Hakeem Odumusu solicited the support of the IGP in the area of logistics.
The command will appreciate the release of 2 police helicopters to the command, so to assist in fortifying the aerial patrol and surveillance of the command with a view to tactically tackling some of the crimes being experienced in the state and by extension in Southwest.
The police command assured the IGP of unalloyed commitment to tackling crimes and criminality in the state. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Thank you, Lane. Up ahead on News Extra, 2 years down the lane, how have the 9th occupants of the nation's Red Chamber fared with the pact with Nigerians? We shall tell you all about it. That's not all. Stick around also for a trip to a grazing reserve somewhere when News Extra returns shortly.
Mr. Kaku
kaku like to kaku. Every day must do kaku. Yeah, if you want help me go kaku. If you want save me go kaku. Every time you like to reason. Even free things it go bad easy. Glow is there for you in every season. You don't have to over reason. Glow, better get that. Glow, oh that better. Glow, better get that. Glow, oh that better. Glow, better get that.
You don't have to be a Mr. Kaku when it comes to data. Get a Glow MiFi for 12,000 Naira and get up to 60 gigabytes data free.
I'm with you at every stage of your life, providing comfort when you are keeping fit, comfort when you are expecting your bundle of joy, comfort during motherhood, comfort in your office, comfort in your car, comfort when sharing a meal, comfort at bedtime. From cradle to grey, there's comfort for you with Vitafoam. Quality is vital. Quality is Vitafoam. Vitafoam, the fine art of living.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Alhaji Mohammed Sabo Nonono, invites Honorable Commissioners of Agriculture, Permanent Secretaries of State Ministries of Agriculture, Heads of Parastatals, Agencies, Institutes, Program Managers, Directors of Planning, Research and Statistics, relevant stakeholders and non-governmental organizations to the 44th Regular Meeting of the National Council on Agriculture and Rural Development. Theme: Nigeria's Agriculture and Food Security in the Face of COVID-19, Floods and Insecurity. Date: Tuesday 15th to Thursday 17th June 2021. Venue: International Conference Center, Garki, Abuja. Time: 9 a.m. daily. Please note that the meeting will both be physical and virtual in line with the COVID-19 protocol and the NCDC guidelines. Dr. Ernest A. Umahihe, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
The Masters Deep Blue, the Integrated National Maritime Surveillance and Security Infrastructure. Our platforms are ready. Special Mission Aircraft, Special Mission Helicopters, Unmanned Aerial Vehicle, Special Mission Vessels, Interceptor Boats, Armored Vehicles, Special Forces and the C4I Center. Official flag off on Thursday 10th June 2021 by President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. Chief Host, Right Honorable Rotimi Amici, Minister of Transportation. The Masters Deep Blue, calmer coast and safer seas. Security is priority. The Integrated National Maritime Surveillance and Security Infrastructure. Powered by NAMASA.
The very tough guy who knocks out every opponent, but now he's been knocked down by malaria.
Amatem Soft Gel.
Amatem Soft Gel.
Amatem Soft Gel makes treating malaria easy.
Daddy, when I had malaria in school, they gave me Amatem Soft Gel. It's soft and easy to swallow.
Amatem Soft Gel is a game changer.
Is down only in round one. Amatem for Soft Gel are good to combat malaria for body.
Available for adults and children. Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
The Honorable Minister of Transportation, Right Honorable Chibweke Rotimi Amici, and the Honorable Minister of State for Transportation, Senator Gbemisola Rukaya Saraki, cordially invite stakeholders in the transportation sector and the general public to the flag-off ceremony for commercial operation of Lagos-Ibadan Rail Line. Date: 10th June 2021. Time: 10 a.m. Venue: Mobolaji Johnson Railway Station, Ebute Meta Junction, Lagos, and the official launch of the Integrated National Maritime Security and Waterways Protection Infrastructure, Deep Blue Assets, by His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Date 10th June 2021. Time 11 a.m. Venue ENL Terminal, Apapa, Lagos. Announcer Magdalene Ajani, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Transportation, Abuja.
Nigerians, welcome to the Decade of Gas Development 2021 to 2030. On 1st December 2020, President Muhammadu Buhari launched the National Gas Expansion Program, a strategic solution to address energy challenges. It guarantees job creation, revenue generation, and ensure energy security for industrialization. Nigerians, it is time to fully tap into the nation's national gas with proven reserve of 203 trillion cubic feet. Nigeria national gas story is changing from flaring to fortune. So far, $10 billion Train 7 gas expansion deal has been closed. Gas Transportation Network Code is in operation. While gas flare commercialization program, Ajekuta Kaduna Kano, AKK gas pipeline, Auto Gas, capacity building, the Integrated Gas Handling Facility, Oredu, Edo State, and many more initiatives are ongoing. Gas will be available and affordable. The Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timi Praise Silva, is leading his team, the GMD, NMPC, Executive Secretary, NCDMB, and other heads of agencies to deliver on this mandate. And coming soon, the launch of micro-distribution centers across 774 local governments areas and conversion of cars to dual fuel usage. Nigeria Go Gas, unlocking the economy to boom again.
Welcome back. On the 11th of June 2019, the 9th Senate took off with a legislative agenda that promises to improve Nigeria's economy, address insecurity and create jobs. Halfway into the tenure, the legislative arm, it has received 745 bills, 58 of them passed, while it considered 250 motions. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unko reports.
That was the inauguration of the 9th Senate on the 11th of June 2019. 24 months down the line, the legislators are marking their 2-year anniversary. It was a moment of retrospect for the legislators who called for concerted commitment to peace in Nigeria. President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan took the lead, congratulating his colleagues, ruling out their major achievements and calling for more commitment from the senators.
This Senate, under the leadership of the Senate leader, held a round-table discussion with all the security agencies, and we had very, very supportive resolutions which we passed to the executive arm of government. We promised to break the jinx on the petroleum industry bill, and we are on the verge of doing this by finally passing the bill sometimes this month of June.
The 9th Senate therefore passed Police Trust Fund Bill to enhance the effectiveness of the rank and file in the discharge of their security duty.
This country had only 2 laboratories that can test COVID-19. As we speak now, based on the legislation that we made through appropriation, we have public sector more than 100 laboratories.
Apart from the major economic bills passed, such as restoration of the budget cycle to January-December, Deep Offshore Amendment, Finance and the Companies and Allied Matters Act Amendment bills, all the 250 motions considered were centered on the economy and security.
So in the area of lawmaking for good government of Nigeria, we have performed creditably in this area.
But we have been able to do so because of your leadership style.
We have confirmed about 60 requests from the executive. Part of our legislative agenda is that we are going to have a Senate that works for all Nigerians.
Every Nigerian has a responsibility, just as we do here, to change our attitudes.
For some of the legislators, the Senate should focus on more decisive interventions in addressing the persistent security problems in the country.
to provide legal backing to new security outfits, which are poised to close the existing gap in our security architecture.
Helping the police with regard to security and the army, we must make sure that we do the needful to make sure that money so appropriated to them is released to them on time.
And I want to say we have made so much tremendous progress. However, we need to do more.
Nigeria has an opportunity to look in and discuss more of the things that bring us together and less of the things that will divide us.
Between 2019 to date, Senate has lost 4 members to the cold hands of death. Senate has adjourned plenary to Tuesday, the 22nd of June 2021. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The clamor for an improvement on security situation across the country continues to resonate. The House of Representatives says, security being everyone's business, a legal framework should be in place for the operation of state security outfits to tackle local criminals. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that a bill with that provision passed second reading.
The Constitution Alteration Bill, sponsored by Anthony Affair, seeks to find and active rules for state and local governments pertaining to funding and other logistic support to ensure effective crime fighting and intelligence gathering. The idea is centered on complementing the Nigeria police force, maintain law and order.
There's need for us to structure it in the Constitutional Amendment for it to have a legal backing. So we don't have different outfits that are uncoordinated.
Also passed at second reading during plenary Wednesday is a bill to establish Alex Ekweme Teaching Hospital from Chinedu, Oga. A bill to establish Nigerian Paramilitary Academy, sponsored by Adeshegun Abdul-Majid, and a bill to establish Admiralty University, sponsored by Yusuf Adamu Gagdi.
As a conventional university, with selected programs, limited and focused faculty to promote scholarship, research, and other means of advancement of knowledge, and its practical application to military hardware and software.
The House adopted a resolution urging the Central Bank of Nigeria to reverse its policy, which has seemingly caused a freefall of the Naira, as moved by Bamidele Salam, and resolved to investigate federal government's loans to farmers from 2009 to date, as highlighted by Chiki Okafo. The motion from the minority leader Ndudi Lumelu calling on the federal government to submit to the National Assembly the report of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission was adopted.
Mandate the House Committee on Finance to invite Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission to appear before them for further explanation as to the issue of the report.
Meanwhile, the House, in response to an appeal from Kabir Shukura, urged deployment of additional security personnel to fight insecurity in Kebbi State. It also stressed the need for the federal government to address communal clashes in Gombe State, as raised by Karu Simon Elisha. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
In another development, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has assured that the federal government will leave no stone unturned to ensure that submissions made at the special town hall meeting on protecting national infrastructure implemented. The minister gave the assurance at a special town hall meeting on protecting national infrastructures held in Abuja. Anthony Forson has that.
By far more serious than I thought.
The Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, wrapping the town hall meeting with a heavy heart on how bad the situation is.
Damage with just one bridge alone in Kano will cost over 1.8 billion to repair. The sheer number of damages done to rail tracks in the northwest, northeast, and north central, in particular, and the eastern part, is simply shocking. In the FCT alone, we've been told that over 25,000 manholes and other infrastructure, tools have been removed and have to be replaced. The funds that will be used to replace these covers and the other things, I'm told is about 2.6 billion, if I heard the Honorable Minister very well. This is money that could have been used for other services.
To this end, he concluded this way.
The concerned ministry should work with the National Assembly to come up with a strong legislation that will prescribe very stiff punishments for offenders. As it has been shown that the absence of very stiff sanctions has unwittingly encouraged the wanton vandalization of public infrastructure. Of course, the need for communal ownership of this infrastructure has also come out very strongly.
The minister assured that a massive sensitization campaign will be embarked upon to make Nigerians see the negative implications and the risk they put other Nigerians' lives to. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Let's head to Lagos now. The country's territorial waters and, by extension, the Gulf of Guinea has long been plagued with maritime crimes ranging from piracy to kidnapping. After several interventions, the federal government has finally responded with an integrated maritime security architecture codenamed Deep Blue Project. Prelude to its inauguration by President Muhammadu Buhari, Michael Olale examines the prospect of the security masterpiece to calm the troubled waters in the region.
There is nowhere on earth where piracy thrives more than the Gulf of Guinea. This is because the region alone accounts for more than 43% of all reported piracy cases globally, according to the ICC International Maritime Bureau. It is a development that is not just threatening investments in the region, but causing the entire African continent a huge financial loss. This is the Command, Communication, Control, Computer and Intelligence C4I Operational Center, a component of the Deep Blue projects. From here, the country can monitor activities on its territorial water from 200 nautical miles.
When we see you are carrying out any illegal activity, we can easily command any of our platforms out there to proceed towards there to intercept.
So far, assets like 16 armored vehicles, 4 unmanned air drones, 17 fast interceptors, 2 special mission vessels, 2 special mission aircrafts and helicopters have been procured, apart from the 600 personnel integrated from both the military and navy.
The issue of these platforms is not only restricted on piracy, armed robbery, as you mentioned, pipeline vandalization, oil theft, illegal refinery, illegal smuggling of arms, illegal narcotics, drugs.
Experts are convinced that the Deep Blue project is indeed the much anticipated answer to maritime threats, but stressed greater efforts at ensuring that facilities are well maintained.
It gives hope, it gives credibility to our environment, it enhances Nigeria's chances in getting into the IMO Security Council.
After inauguration by President Muhammadu Buhari, the Deep Blue project will be deployed to secure the Anchorage area, a development that will enable the country harness the vast wealth in the blue economy. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Thank you, Michael. Gombe State is among few states with no significant record of a farmer-herder conflict in northern Nigeria. However, the state is housing one of the largest grazing reserves in the country with international recognized stock routes. Agriculture correspondent Musa Baba Aliu visited the grazing reserve that is currently being renovated by the federal government in conjunction with the state government.
It was few minutes past 7 in the morning of Wednesday, 2nd of June 2021, when I visited Wawazanji Grazing Reserve, located in Gombe State. It is one of the biggest grazing reserves in the country, covering more than 140,000 hectares of land. The State Commissioner for Agriculture told me that 2 million cattle can be settled in the reserve at a go. No wonder Ardo Idrisa and other members of the livestock breeders are living in the grazing reserve. The grazing area established years back was abandoned by previous administrations at federal and state levels. The good news here is that the administration of Governor Inuwa Yahaya and the federal government are out to rehabilitate the grazing reserve. Constructions of hospital, veterinary clinic, dams and access roads are underway.
Well, the state government for now, they're even desilting the older dams that we have currently. And if there is time, we'll go through the desilting process. And this project is going to be handed over to the state for daily management.
The abandoned primary school in the area is being rehabilitated. 11-year-old Mariam was happy with the transformation taking place in the area. She takes care of her mother's cattle before she attends classes in the morning. Not only Mariam, other children also attend the school and they are excited doing so. The transformation taking place in Wawazengi, Minister of Agriculture said will be replicated in other northern states.
And then appeal on behalf of the Gombe farmers, Gombe cattle rearers, the livestock owners of the Northeast, that this promise of having this project, the project mentioned in the map and the design, should be implemented, and more should come to Gombe, because our governor is a focused governor as far as agriculture is concerned, and he is always ready to give the maximum support in the grazing reserve.
Veterinary officers alongside cattle breeders expressed the hope that the Ministry of Agriculture will execute the project to later. From Wawazengi Grazing Reserve in Gombe State, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Large areas grazing space and forest reserve are being transformed to put an end to the incessant farmer-herder clashes and to preserve and utilize the resources for improved security and social economic stability of the rural population. The roadmap for achieving robust platforms for solution-driven projects came to the fore during NTA Current Affairs program Tuesday Live. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
Nigeria's grazing system and forest potential are being revived and modernized in line with global best practices to address conflict between farming and herding communities. Stakeholders on NTA's Current Affairs program Tuesday Live acknowledged federal government initiative on National Livestock Transformation Program as spot on, citing the new synergies between government at all levels to implement critical components of the program.
We just have to adopt the zero grazing method, whereby you get the grazing reserve, get a small veterinary clinic in there, get a small market so that people outside can come and buy the milk and the beef, etc. Get a small school for the children of the herdsman, and then, of course, good roads.
I'm trying to build different models that will enable rapid transformation, that will lead to quick changes in attitudinal practices, that will quickly ramp up and develop capacities, and that will help us to secure a lot of investments.
Effective control and management of livestock and adequate awareness strategies are described as key drivers in actualizing reforms through the strengthening of institutional capacity to reduce growing tension created by frequent disputes.
I would rather suggest the government gets more focused, puts in more resources, and supports this as a business. Because the struggle we are in now is for us to provide means of livelihood to the people so that they can have a sustainable life.
Federal government decided to bring a blueprint. And within that blueprint, they are trying to get the buy-in of the various state government. And the expectation there is, just like Gombe is doing, is to look at what are those things that are provided and can easily be domesticated.
As the debate for sustainable part in achieving lasting solutions created by forests and grazing reserves continues, the expectations of Nigerians is to have more interventions that will reduce conflict and protect lives and property. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
So a bit on education now. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board JAMB has opened a window of grace for students who failed to register or made errors in the registration process till June 11. Registrar of the board, Professor Ishaq Uluede, says the body will also be conducting mop-up examinations for such candidates. Our Yusuf Jibo reports.
With concern written all over their faces, these students are worried that they may miss out on the 2021 UTME examination following their inability to conclude their registration before the registration deadline. They, like some other prospective candidates, are caught in the web of NIN requirements stipulated by the examination board.
I've been sending the NIM time without number without receiving any code, like the profile code from JAMB office. So that's the way I came here since last month. I've been sending it since last month.
Addressing their concern is the main reason behind the visit of JAMB Registrar Professor Ishaq Uluede to the Lagos office of the board, where he also monitored the registration exercise.
Because we have asked them across the country, we have asked them that all of them across the country, whatever reason you have, come and show us. And that's why you are seeing them, those who say they don't have NIN, those who say they don't have this. Without NIN, nobody will be registered.
JAMB had previously extended the registration period for the 2021 UTME and direct entry, with exams set to begin June 19th to July 3rd. In Lagos, Awol Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State has approved dissolution of the state's Executive Council and other political appointees with immediate effect. Contained in a statement signed by his Special Advisor, Media and Publicity, Mukhtar Gidadu, the dissolution includes the Secretary to the State Government, the Chief of Staff, Government House, and all special advisors, except special advisors on security, national and state assemblies liaison, social investment, and that of media and publicity. While thanking them for their meritorious services to the state, Governor Bala Mohammed wished them the very best in their future endeavors. And we head to Kano, where Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje promises a stronger working relationship with the Nigerian Television Authority in view of its indispensable role in nation building and promotion of national unity. The governor made the pledge while receiving the management of NTA Kano. Abdullahi Mustafa reports.
It is time for the weekly meeting of the Kano State Executive Council. The governor and other cabinet members are set for the usual deliberation on memos from MDAs. The business of the day was, however, suspended to admit into the banquet hall formidable partners. The NTA Kano management, led by the station's general manager Kailani Yusuf, used the platform to extend the best wishes of the Director General and rested commitment to serving the government and people of the state.
We have always been sensitizing people to see the giant stride your government is doing, despite this low revenue generation in the country, despite all the challenges.
Governor Abdullah Umar Ganduje, who expressed satisfaction with the contribution of the NTA in projecting the development programs and projects of the state government, assured that his administration will continue to partner and support the organization in discharging its indispensable role of promoting unity and national development.
In fact, I'm just realizing they know what you are doing as much as we know. So we appreciate that, and this is a positive development, and it makes a very good relationship between a federal government organ and the state government.
Dr. Ganduje also disclosed plans to give NTA Kano a facelift to enhance its operations. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Oh, thank you so much, Abdullahi. Now, an agricultural produce that is a popular feature in many kitchens that reek of many health benefits and at the same time an economy booster. Look out for this and more in our next segment. Do join us again. Great to know you're still with us on News Extra. World Bank upgrades Nigeria's economic growth to 1.8% as investors gain more than 150 billion naira to close Nigerian exchange trading in green. Let's join Musa Abakar for details on business news. Musa.
Well, thank you, Fatima. The World Bank upgraded its economic growth focus for Nigeria in 2021 to 1.8%, citing higher oil prices, structural oil sector reforms and market-based flexible exchange rate management. This represents a 0.7 percentage point increase from the 1.1% projected by the World Bank in January. The new forecast was contained in the World Bank's latest global economic prospects titled Global Recovery Strong but Uneven as many developing countries struggle with the pandemic's lasting effects. The World Bank said growth in Nigeria is expected to resume at 1.8% in 2021 and edge up to 2.1% next year, assuming higher oil prices, structural oil sector reforms, and market-based flexible exchange rate management. It also upgraded its economic growth focus for the sub-Saharan Africa region to 2.8% from 2.7% projected in January. Now, equities market closed Wednesday trading session on positive. The all-share index climbed 0.74% to close 39,170.95 basis point and market capitalization at 20.4 trillion naira. 181.5 million shares valued at 3.96 billion naira were traded in 3,217 deals. Zenith, Sterling and Guarantee Trust Bank are the most traded shares with a combined volume of 55.1 million shares valued at 939.9 million naira. Well, that's business news. It's back to you, Fatima.
Thank you so much, Musa. Now, the huge investment partnership and benefits accruing from the Nigeria International Petroleum Summit, key players say, has continued to present in-country value across the entire value chains with low-hanging fruits and long-term benefits that will reposition the Nigerian oil and gas sector narrative. Lydia Sampson has that.
Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum Resources, Beatrice Baku-Nabasu says it is even more gratifying because government resources are not deployed in the organization of the summit since inception.
The benefits are numerous. First and foremost, let me enlighten you that Nigerian government does not spend a kobo in the preparation, in the organization of this summit. Rather, we benefit because I know the previous 3 editions, there were remittances from this summit to the Federation account.
This roundtable on investment opportunities kick-started a discussion on the landscape of opportunities and projections with a view to harnessing lessons learned for a proactive future for the industry.
The very fundamental of every national oil company is energy security. And it's not perfect. Energy security is the nucleus of all forms of security. Food security, health security, cyber security, just name it. Together, they determine how strong, how robust the energy security of a country is.
We've seen where we had disruptions. We had disruptions in our supply chains. We had disruptions when it came to operations, and we had disruptions and delays for projects. So now, as we are sitting down to sort of mitigate these risks that we have now not perceived, but actual and real risks which happened, we should now be building into these processes the resilience needed and agility needed to ensure that we don't have such a negative impact like we did.
There were a lot of opportunities that were opened during COVID, and which we need to capitalize on even going forward.
The stakeholders agree targeted capacity building, harnessing the opportunities that the digitization of the oil and gas sector present remain critical. In addition to ongoing exhibition by various entities and targeted presentations, key players at the ongoing Nigeria International Petroleum Summit are unanimous that presentations from here will be setting agenda on the way to go for the oil and gas industry. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Let's now talk about one crop that, in my own opinion, has been underestimated. Yes, ginger. Do you know that ginger is recognized in the international market for its unique pungency, high oil content, and other medicinal and industrial value components? Well, how can these impressive attractions be sustained is what takes Hamza Musa Makarfi to find out in predominantly ginger farming communities of southern Kaduna.
In Kwai Town, headquarters of Jaba local government area, southern Kaduna, it is the traditional market day, typical of a rural setting with many attractions. My mission is to the ginger sections where buyers and sellers meet from far and wide. Jaba Chiefdom is the leading producer of ginger in Nigeria, with areas of Jama'a, Kachia, Kagarko and Zongan Kataf making the list. Custodian of the market, Musa Heri, has a slogan for King of the Crops. To ensure the slogan keeps resonating, Rafael Leo and many others who already planted the crop are appreciating Mother Nature for progress being made. Those who are yet to plant rely on sellers of ginger seed like Mary Sunday. She says they cannot compromise on quality, adding that a container sells for 10,000 naira while the bag goes for 16,000 naira. Not far away, it is business as usual for another group, haggling over the cost of dried ginger bag, which sold for 23,000 naira. Price fluctuates depending on time and quality of the product.
We are still expecting that the price of ginger this year and next year will be higher than that of last year and part of this year.
Investigation shows in addition to Kaduna, 4 other top producing states of Bauchi, Gombe, Benue and Nasarawa contribute to the national average, making the business to thrive at local and international markets. Nigeria is rated the 3rd largest exporter of ginger in the world after China and India, and takes 2nd largest production share of 16% according to findings.
If we have the vision of establishing small-scale industries, definitely the usage of the product within the country and in the communities will increase. This is the yearning of the people.
It is still work in progress by government and promoters of ginger production, with strategic planning and implementation of initiatives on addressing farmers' challenges to expand cultivation, ensure market stability, and promote export. From Kafanchan, Hamza Musa Makarfi, NTA News.
Really informative. Now, agriculture, which is one of the key drivers of President Buhari's administration, has been constantly gaining grounds in various quarters as technology and dynamics are being introduced to improve methods, practices and yields. In this report, Alajide Bello unveils another initiative to boost yam production.
Do you believe that interlocking is not a barrier to growing of yam? Well, let's find out as we unravel the recent development in yam cultivation, and it is called Yam in the Sack. Pastor Shola Oyedekun is a clergy and also agriculturally inclined in modern methods to practice agriculture. The Yam in the Sack initiative will positively channel the minds of youth to embracing agriculture in a less cumbersome way.
They are learning to be entrepreneurs. They are learning to go into agric on their own and then make something good out of it. And the moment these yams started sprouting, they are happy. I mean, it shows that they can do it. That sense of fulfillment is in them. And we hope to continue through the whole system of cultivating yam, turning it into a lubor, and so on. We are already into that. We are learning it, and we will soon go there.
This initiative, according to some youth who put this together, is a welcome development as it has expanded their horizon as towards cultivation of yam.
So I feel like participating in this project has actually endowed a life skill in me, because this can actually be a source of income for me.
You know, we are all chasing how to invest now and get in now, but this is something you could actually venture into, and you know, in the next 6 months you're actually getting something out of it.
Joshua Awokpetu, agricultural expert, says for agriculture to be more lucrative to the youth, the policies of late Obafemi Awolowo should be reintroduced.
Farm Institute, farm settlement, I'm talking about 60s, which Awolowo started. If government can reorientate that to make it comfortable for the youth, they will do it. Understand me? You have playhouses there, you have everything there, football. They be there. Some will not come out 2 weeks, some will not come out in learning.
So when next you think of planting or cultivating yam, even though you have interlocking in your homes, it is no longer a barrier. Just remember, yam in the sack. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Interesting, because I love yams. So members of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria have agreed to temporarily suspend their 2-month-old strike action with effect from next Monday. Arising from an emergency national executive meeting in Abuja, the union hinged their move on interventions by the National Judicial Council and Minister of Labour, Dr. Chris Ngige, to amicably resolve their dispute with the Nigerian Governors Forum over the financial autonomy for the judiciary.
With the intervention of our NJC being shared by the CJN himself, we agreed on terms, and we have said that after calling NEC, discussing exhaustively on the issues on ground, we agreed that we will shield the sword for the NJC to get involved with effect from Monday, 14th of June. So we will suspend for a short while, a very short while, to allow all the parties perfect what we need to do, because we still need a few things to be done.
Like I said, we are suspending, not calling it off. So by the time the NJSC intervene and do the needful and it work out, we will still reconvey, maybe possibly to call it off. But if it's not done that way, we are going to resume this strike without notice to anybody.
The judiciary workers' strike had been on since April 6th. Following an appraisal of the report indicating the gradual implementation of the items contained in the Memorandum of Action signed between the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, ASUP, and the federal government, the union has resolved to suspend its 65-days-old industrial action with effect from 10th June 2021. A statement by ASUP National Publicity Secretary Abdullahi Yalwa says the suspension is for a period of 3 months to enable the government complete the execution of the items contained in the Memorandum of Action signed with the union since April 2021. He adds that as part of the efforts communicated by the Federal Ministry of Education, certain items have been fulfilled, like the reconstitution and inauguration of governing councils and visitation panels in Nigerian federal polytechnics, while the union is led to believe that the release of funds for infrastructure, revitalization and minimum wage arrears is currently being processed. The red rose remains my favorite flower, which is yes. We take another breather at this point, and when News Extra returns, we will let you into the amazing world of flowers and all the trappings. Plus, Tegna is in the news again. What is it about the town this time around? Find out when we return. Thanks for staying. Buniyadi, once a vibrant and prosperous community in Yobe State, suffered severe setbacks at the height of Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast. Today, life is gradually returning to the community as the people have received help from a donor agency, the United Nations Development Program, UNDP. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports that the UNDP is working with the state government to bring the once devastated community back to life.
Buniyadi,
capital of Gujba local government area of Yobe State, was a town with an enviable reputation. As host to one of the largest markets in the state, the community was a major contributor to the state's economy and one of the most visited. Buniyadi lost its glory in 2013 when it fell into the hands of Boko Haram, leading to the loss of many lives and property, rendering thousands homeless as they were forced to relocate in search of safety and livelihood. That was the ugly story before the town was recaptured by the Nigerian military. Thanks to the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, the people are gradually returning to their homes. The UNDP, through its regional stabilization program, and in collaboration with the state government, not only renovated one of the largest markets in the region, but also engaged in local development and peace-building initiatives in the area.
I used to pay to secure my goods, and it is even worse when it is raining. But now I have a shop of my own, thanks to my benefactors.
Maria Muhammad, a widow, is one of the beneficiaries of the Household Empowerment Program.
I have been turning over the grants I got. However, it would be better if an account is created for us for proper monitoring.
Mohammed Bigila said he has been able to acquire this tricycle from proceeds he got from his harvests. The state government says the present administration is people-oriented.
By implementing several livelihood activities in Buniyadi, Gujwal government area, in a bid to consolidate the peace currently being observed.
We ensure that the community are informed of for every opportunity to be given cash grant, to be allocated a shop, or to use a facility on it and make good use of it so that tomorrow more will come.
Nigeria, Chad, Cameroon, and Niger Republic are the 4 beneficiaries of the UNDP Regional Stability Facility for the Lake Chad Basin. In partnership with state governments, the UN agency said it will continue to expand and scale up livelihoods and income generation efforts in communities affected by the insurgency in Nigeria. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Thank you, Adebala. Now, Egypt has a special place in the world map for its early civilization, especially with regards to the wonders of its pyramids. Abdullah Mohammed has found out a similar man-made high ground meant to keep vigil against the enemy in the ancient city of Tegina. Remember the town Tegina? If you don't, Abdullah will also remind you.
Just driving by, you may throw in the towel, passing the town of Tegina as a place without a past to reckon with. But here lies a small town with a history of a kingdom, with the baobab trees testifying. The ancient city gate of Tegina is about 500 meters away from the Islamia school where more than 100 children were abducted days ago. The traces of the city's wall bearing trees along its course. Approaching the palace of the traditional ruler of the town, you will be accosted by an iconic mountain built with rocks and mud. We went atop and one of the elders of the town lay out its history.
Here it was a community work that actually brought up this place. And it was higher than what we are seeing, so that whoever is here can see from all directions.
To retrace the steps of the rulers of the kingdom, a number of title holders took the royal walk to the top of one of the rocks, which remains the pride of the people. There was the king's bathing pool. Descending the rock, we headed to the city's only flowing river as a den.
This place is very important for the people of Tegina. It used to be a flowing river. In fact, that river was what attracted the people of Tegina to come and settle in this particular place that they are today. And they said there used to be 2 festivals that they usually perform in this place.
Mafarauta daga can
Local hunters discovered the river and set the move for resettlement.
Though the river has shrunk to the size of an oasis, it is still revered by the people.
And annually, they come here to pay homage.
Tegina has the history of a kingdom which harbors the piece of the story of another kingdom. The descendants of Ugu, another city not more than a kilometer away, still hold in high esteem their own heritage, but their dialect is gone.
Even if you are talking, I say you're from Tegina, say no, so Ugu again. So they don't even want them to be associated with another tribe. They have to show where they come from.
Tegina is like many other cities across the country. Only if you scratch the surface, you may not understand its history. In Tegina, Rafi local government area of Niger State, Abdullah Mohammed, NT News.
Lovely history. Now to sports. The 16th edition of Europe's flagship football tournament kicks off this weekend with several firsts and innovations to beat as the Nigerian Television Authority has concluded all arrangements to transmit the matches. Euro 2020 is the focus of this special report.
After a year-long wait, the UEFA Euro 2020 football tournament is finally upon us. Euro's quadrennial football showpiece was supposed to go down in 2020, but the coronavirus pandemic meant that the tournament had to be postponed by a year. Football fans have an action-packed June and July to look forward to because Euro 2020 will be hosted by 11 different countries and kicks off on Friday with 24 teams in the midst of coronavirus. Each venue will have a limited number of fans in attendance.
For 11 countries to be hosting Euro 2020 for the first time, I think it is unique. We all understand why it is happening. It is because of the pandemic. I think it is better for them to play safe.
In the early days of the tournament, the final was made up of only 4 teams, later expanded to 8 in 1980 and again 16 in 1996, before reaching its current 24-team format in 2016. The qualifiers produced drama, upset and history-making moment as North Macedonia will make their first ever major tournament appearances, while Scotland reached their first finals since 1998. Italy are in Group A along with Turkey, Wales and Switzerland, while Group B has one of the tournament favorites and number 1 ranked team in the world, Belgium, drawn alongside Denmark, Russia and Finland. Group F features Portugal, France, Germany and Hungary. VAR will make its debut at the tournament. Apart from this, the total prize money for the competition has increased from the previous 2016 figure of €371 million. The tournament also COVID-19 specific rules and protocols in place that every team must adhere to for fear of COVID-19.
Most of the players we have seen perform day in, day out during the season may just fade out, and what we are going to see will be a new crop of players emerging, players who have not had opportunities before.
Today's European Championship stands as the second most watched football tournament in the world, behind only the FIFA World Cup, with its 2012 final attracting a global audience of 300 million. Euro 2020 in 2021 will serve as the 16th official tournament in the European Championships, and football fans around the world have a great opportunity to enjoy, but mostly from home, no thanks to coronavirus. With sports update, Omoyemi Unubun.
Thank you, Maria, for that sports package. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of News Extra. Looking forward to doing this with you again next week. But I have to apologize for not bringing the special report on flowers, but I promise you we'll bring it next week. Don't forget to join the NTA in standing against rape and rapists. Enjoy the rest of your night. I am Fatima Marbuba.